Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Blue Abroad YouTube channel. I'm your host, Terry. If you're new to the channel, please be sure to check out this video to the end, like and subscribe if you enjoy it. On today's episode of Carlton People, I have a very fresh YouTuber named Marcus Scuotto, who's going to share with you his story about all things Carlton. Marcus, welcome, mate.
Thanks, Terry. Thanks for having me. Much appreciated.
No, not a problem at all, mate. We came in contact, I think it was roughly a year ago, maybe a little less. I came across your blog, and you always, when you see an Instagram page that pops at you and you sort of dive a little bit deeper and you take interest in it, and so I sort of started from there. But maybe you can take the floor and let me know and let us know a little bit about you and about the sports media stuff that you're doing, and more importantly, the Carlton person that you are.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I first launched my my blog, you were, I think, the first person to reach out to me. So, and that wasn't too long ago. It was probably a few months ago, actually. So I am pretty new to it. It's something I love doing. Something I've always really done, but never taken it to that public level. I've always just done it for my own viewing and whatnot. So, to finally actually make it public and make a YouTube channel, Instagram, blog, all that sort of stuff, has made it a lot more real and a lot more enjoyable as well, because you're not just catering it to yourself, you're catering it to a wider audience. So and treating the making of videos like you are presenting it to an audience instead of just presenting it to yourself, because when you do that you can get a bit lazy. So I've been really enjoying it, mate, and obviously still pretty fresh to it, and but loving it, and it's definitely the path I'm going to go down and see where it takes me.
Awesome, mate. How do you get from, tell me a bit about your backstory. How do you get to where you are now, where you've decided, hey, this is what I want to do? Yeah,
so it sort of came to not really a crossroads, but just thought, what do I really love doing in life? Like what could I say, what could I, get out of bed every morning and just get really excited for the day? And that was just, living and breathing footy and, talking all things Carlton and all that sort of stuff. That's what I do every other day in my spare time. And, why not turn your passion into something that you could see yourself doing forever. So, so that it came to that, and that's the path I want to take. So I did sport management at uni. So I've got a bit of background there, but definitely more interested in the media side of things. And and we'll see where that path sort of takes me from there.
Yeah, love it. We'll touch a little bit more on the social media side of things, because I think it's we have a lot in common. Just the way you described that there, I had the exact same. I don't know, like you said, I don't know if it was a crossroads or an epiphany or whatever it was. But talk to me about how did you become a Carlton fan? Like, where did it all begin? What was your first memory?
Yeah, so my old man, obviously a massive Carlton supporter, so it was not really my choice at all. I've been a Carlton supporter since the day I could remember. First real memories was probably, just going to Princess Park in those late 90s, early 2000s, watching players like Stephen Silvani, Koutafidis, Bradley, Camporelli, all those sort of players run around, thinking how good's this? Carlton were winning every week and playing finals, grand finals, and at the time you don't really, you definitely take it for granted. I was probably about 7-8 years old when at that stage, and it was just how good's this? And never would have thought after that we'd go through what we did after that. But they're my first real memories, just being at Princess Park and watching all those great players run around. So but my first real footy memory that I can properly describe would have to be that 99 prelim, which I think a lot of guys my age would agree with. That is definitely something I can remember quite vividly. I wasn't at the game, but I do remember what happened afterwards, and the tears of joy in the household. And I remember our home phone wouldn't stop ringing after it, people just calling up, congratulating and saying, "Oh my God, I can't believe what we've just done to Essendon," the dominant team of that era. So that would probably be my first real memory of being a Carlton supporter. And I was probably about 7-8 years old at that time. So a pretty good first memory to have. So
absolutely. So you're a 92 boy?
Yeah, born in 92.
Yeah. So we're pretty much the exact same age. I'm a 91 boy. I do. I kind of remember 99. For some reason, I remember 95 a little bit more. Not the actual day, but just the videotapes would come out. I'd watch that on repeat. 99 was obviously very special. My memory really kicks in probably 205, 206 once Murph gets drafted. I don't know how much of an interest I took in what we were doing. I used to love watching Carlton, obviously, but I didn't really get obsessive about, remembering names and stats and players until we had that, the first rebuild, one of a couple that we've had since.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we have the unique experience as Carlton supporters, probably the first generation ever who don't have a premiership for, a 20-year window.
Yeah.
So how do you view us on a high level, as to where we are, where we've come from, and our experience? Because really, we've just got the stories that our parents and uncles and aunties tell us.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, I was having this conversation with my old man the other day, and by our age, he had seen 7 premierships.
Wow.
Which is ridiculous. And we've seen 5 wooden spoons. So, the difference in generation there is just incredible. But yeah, it's been it's probably pretty much since that 05, 06 period. It's just been apart from like 2010, 2011, where we were quite good. Apart from that, it's been a bloody tough road, and finally starting to see some light out of it now. But pretty much through high school was a pretty tough period for us. Just that the poor recruiting, the poor administration, and all those sort of things have just really set us back a lot. And yeah, absolutely, mate. It's been super tough during that period, but hopefully now, with the way things are going and the way we finished last season, I can definitely see us hopefully getting back to that, or at least to that standard we were at in 2010, 2011, where we were pushing for the top 4. So see how we go, mate. But yeah, definitely positive about what we've got to come in the next few years for sure.
Yeah, I don't think anyone really saw it coming in like 2011. It was like, all right, well, we've got the draft picks. They've all peaked.
Yeah.
So this is just going to be us for the next 5, 6, 7 years. We're going to have a dynasty, and
it
ended as quickly as what it started almost. And now we're into, what are we? Year 4, year 5. I think it's year 5 of the new rebuild, the recent rebuild.
Yeah.
And you touched on some of the decisions that we had made beforehand, and obviously they've proven to be, not the right decisions. How much are you able to sort of take off the Carlton lens? Because I find it very difficult, and we're always going to find a reason why we're going to win this week, or why this is the team that's going to take us to the glory days. What on a high level do you see of the current list that makes you have hope or believe that this is the right path that we've taken?
Yeah, well, I like the fact that we pretty much just scrapped everything in the end of 2015 and just literally started again, which I think is long term is exactly what we needed to do, because we just had a lot of dead wood on that team, and we really just went to the draft, and it was obviously going to take a while for the wins to come on the board, and obviously Bolton paid for that, and but. I think long term that's going to really pay us back. You can already see with the key forwards that we did pick up in at the end of 2015 in Charlie and Harry, and then you got Wiedering on the other end as well. Like you can just tell that they're all going to be superstars, and Wiedering's pretty much at that level already. So, and then and you go the year after that where we went midfield, and those guys are probably taking a little bit longer than the previous guys, but. You can just see the direction that we are going, and everyone says it's going to take time, but I genuinely think that they will get there. I haven't seen anything to suggest otherwise yet. Could be proven wrong, but it's just going to Well, I was looking forward to seeing how we would have gone this year, but it's all up in the air at the moment with how they're going to go after once we do get started again. But I generally do think that. What we did at the end of 2015 is definitely going to pay us back in the long run, as painful as it was for those first 2-3 years. So I think we'll get there.
100%. Yeah, there's a little part of me which grows by the day, and obviously with the current situation that we're in, all any momentum that was building for any club in the competition is just stopped in its tracks. And it's almost like, there's that old cliche, everyone starts from zero. It's literally like that. Like I know Collingwood and West Coast and Richmond and maybe GWS are kind of those upper echelon teams. And, you've only got to look at Carlton in that 2010 to 2012 period or 2009 to 2011 period where short window, even though we didn't win a flag. And it's pretty much, history suggests that it's pretty much the same. It's very similar. You've only got a 2 to 3 year window, unless you're going to be one of the great teams like the Hawthorns or the Geelongs or things like that. So in saying that, the momentum's been stopped competition wide, and there's something inside of me that says, oh, there could be a bolter here. And, we've had a lot of injuries in the preseason, especially to those key guys. They're all, apart from Charlie, they're all going to be back, it seems, when we start playing again in what looks to be a month's time from now.
Yeah.
Do you see us, potentially pinching an 8th spot? I mean, you probably do because you're a Carlton man. But I'm making the case for it, mate.
Yeah. Oh, I was thinking that the other day. I was like, no crowds, and trust Carlton to get to the finals this year, and we can't even go to it. I was thinking that, but that's what I mean. Like you touched on it just then. Like the whole competition's been affected by this. It's not just Carlton. So it's hard to see where we can actually get to. I think that break though from round 1 to where we are now has been, some sort of a positive for us with the injuries that we had. So you never know. It's just going to see how players like Harry come back after that time off and seeing how they can perform. But at the start of the season, before all this stuff started happening, I would have expected us to finish anywhere between like 8th and 12th. So if we can pitch an 8th spot, mate, I'll be very happy. But obviously, I'd love to go to the G if we did make the finals. That would be great because last time we were there was a pretty good day, wasn't it?
Yeah, 100%, man, 100%. That's why I came back. Literally, that's why I came back home. Came back home because I couldn't handle another year of not being amongst the crowd, and it's such a special time going to the footy. And obviously, this time has forced everyone to really think about what they enjoy in life. And I sometimes had thoughts of, maybe after a while I'll just realise that it's just footy and it's not life. And in some aspects, it is just footy and it's not life. But in others, it's literally all I care about. Nothing gives me that energy, whether it's a great day out and we win or whether it's a tough loss. Nothing makes me feel those emotions in the world. What's that like for you? Where does your passion sort of stem from, and how is it manifested?
Yeah, mate, pretty much exactly the same. It's that feeling you get, when I always go back to that final against Richmond in 2013. Probably the best game I've been to as a Carlton supporter. Just the roar of the crowd and just being at one with all the other Carlton supporters. There's honestly no feeling like it. It's hard to describe what it is like. But yeah, just there is something special about the Carlton Army in particular that, when we are up and about, it's a bloody loud group of supporters and a passionate group. So I think that probably has stemmed back to the days of, going to Princes Park and literally just being with Carlton supporters around you. We had that real close-knit community there. So that's probably where it stems back to, that real passionate fan base there. And then, mate, I even say to other people I speak about, that St Kilda game at the end of last year was another one of those games that was just unbelievable atmosphere-wise. Obviously, with Teague getting signed that week and hoping that, it wasn't like we didn't go too soon with it, and then we top it off with a win was incredible. So, and that was a dead rubber game, and the atmosphere was incredible. So, who knows what it's going to be like, when we actually get to the top. And it gives me goosebumps just thinking about
100%.
What would be.
Yeah, I remember that game so clearly. 55,000, not a massive crowd. I remember I don't usually drink a lot at the footy. I don't usually carry on. And I was filming afterwards, doing interviews, and I was a little tipsy in the day because it was like, oh, fuck, you've let you let the animal out of the cage. And really, we thought that 2019, because we had come off 2018, which was That has to go down as the worst year in the club's
Yeah.
history. I hope it is.
Yeah.
And so obviously when 2019 happened and the first half of the year was what it was, and then St Kilda happened, it was like a finals atmosphere, and that's what gives me the goosebumps, knowing, man, we're not even good yet. Wait till we're actually, playing on Friday nights. Wait till we're playing in prelims. I carried on like we'd won a final that day.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. That was exactly right. And it was nothing to play for as well. So, and that just goes to show what the Carlton fans are like. So, I know, mate. It's exciting times if we can get there. So, that's fingers crossed.
100%. So, talk to me a little bit more about. So, it's MJS Sports Media, right?
Yeah. So, MJS Sport Media, or on YouTube, it's just MJS Sport. So so literally just being just writing articles about what's going on, mainly with Carlton, trying to be a bit more general, but mainly with the Blues. So what's going on there, making videos, montages, all that sort of stuff. So so the YouTube channel's got a few good clips on there. So probably our most popular one on there is the 99 prelim montage, which is quite a good watch. Even got the 2013 elimination final montage on there as well. So, so they're always a good watch no matter what you're doing. And then we also put together the 2019 season highlights. It's pretty long, like it's a pretty detailed review of the whole season. But yeah, for any Carlton nut out there, it is a good watch if you want to. It just goes to show how different the two halves of that season were. So. It is good. So yeah, just trying to make videos like that and write articles and just talk all things Carlton because that's all we've got to do at the moment. There's nothing really else happening, so it's a good time to jump on board with that sort of stuff.
Yeah, for those watching at home, I've got links to the channel below and a link to that 2019 montage below as well. So make sure you check that out. I saw, and I'm very interested to ask you this. I saw you've travelled overseas a bit. You've been to some sporting events. I had a suss of your Instagram. Did your perspective on sport change at all going to those events? Not so much sport, but more so where footy is in comparison to the other sports.
Yeah. So so going to the Premier League in England is something else. It's a completely different experience. Like it's hard to compare the two. And going to a Liverpool game, being a Liverpool supporter, it's just something that it's hard to explain how good that is. Very different to footy. The euphoria of scoring a goal in soccer is just so much different to footy. So it is hard to compare. But I went to a Liverpool away game last season at Newcastle, and I'll still say that's one of the best experiences I've ever had in my life.
How many Liverpool supporters were there?
3,000 to 4,000, I reckon.
Yeah, and you're all tucked into a little away section.
You literally police guarded through the stadium, out of the stadium. It's incredible. Like it was one of the best experiences I've ever had. So, and then going to a Carlton game. It's completely different. Like both amazing experiences, but very different. So, didn't really change my perspective too much. It just opens you up to like, wow, how good's this? Going overseas.
So I'm an Arsenal fan. So I went to an Arsenal away game at Cardiff, and that was the first time I'd been to a Premier League game, and the away fans, and I think it was a 36,000 capacity stadium full of Cardiff fans, and then we were in that little subsection of Arsenal fans, exactly how you described it.
Yeah.
Fenced off, police are there, and the game day experience is different in that you're standing up the whole game. There's no sitting down.
Yeah.
And I remember I got there and I bought 2 beers for myself because that's just what we do when we go to the footy.
Yeah.
And I remember walking up the stairs and the security guy sort of looked at me like, you can't take those in there. And I'm like, oh my God, I must look like the biggest foreigner right now.
Yeah. You can only go in at halftime, can't you? Yeah. They're really strict with it. Yeah.
Which is interesting because they're so passionate and so loud. And I mean, there's only so many beers you can put into yourself before a game. And chug them and sort of get out there. So it is really raw emotion. And as I said, Arsenal fan. So Arsenal Fan TV is, a channel that really has inspired me. And I met Robbie and I met the crew and I sort of saw I sort of saw how it all worked and how simple it was. And for me, that was really the light bulb moment of, I think there's a future in this in the AFL. Now, obviously, there aren't as many Carlton fans as what there are Arsenal fans or Liverpool fans, because it's a global sport with a global reach. But I find the way that we're passionate about our footy clubs is not the same as the way that the English are passionate about their Premier League clubs, but there is that similarity in that passion. And I just see YouTubers and content creators growing as the years go on. And I don't know, I'm interested to hear your thoughts on the future of the footy fan media sort of bubble.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, as you touched on, like it is very different in the way that they sort of are passionate about it. It is something that, like, I sort of wish was here, like that real tribal aspect of the soccer over there translating to here. Like, I know a lot of people like to, mingle with like other teams and sit together, but I feel like that tribal aspect of just sitting with your own fans against the other fans would make it a lot more, passionate in that way. So that is something I like, but yeah, obviously you can't do it in Australia just with, the whole family aspect of it. But yeah, in terms of media, mate, like, yeah, that's pretty much how I sort of got on as well. Like, I follow a lot of the YouTube channels, the Liverpool channels on YouTube. And I was like, yeah, there's not many of those in the AFL.
Yeah.
So I was, very similar thoughts to yourself. Just thought, there is definitely an area in the AFL world that we can sort of tap into here and create those fan channels and, even doing like interviews with fans outside the ground, that sort of thing, like get that, emotion right after a game. So, that is one of the reasons why I've jumped on board with it as well. It's just to try emulate that. And but yeah, I'm seeing now that there is a lot more channels coming out with each AFL club too. So it's slowly getting there, but yeah, mate, I'd love to do more of that sort of stuff. And but yeah, talking to the fans straight after the game would definitely be a good viewing for sure. So
yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I only did them last year after wins, just because I'm mindful of losses and how toxic we can get, and some of the things. Even like, I've had to learn over the journey. Some of the things I've criticised players for after game have just come from a really dark place. Like, I remember, I think it was the Hawthorn game or the North Melbourne game, and like, I look back on it now, it's like, oh my God, I can't believe I said that. So there's like this balance of learning, like, you've got to be professional, but at the same time you've got to be real and raw and honest, and the feedback's got to be given in a way that's not toxic. But I mean, you'll obviously figure that out on your own journey. Talk to me a little bit about the current group and some of the players that you really have sort of attached yourself to, because for me, it was Mark Murphy when he got drafted, and I just sort of followed him from the start, because it was like young gun midfielder, one of the best in the comp at some point. And now we've got a new crop of youngsters year after year. Are there any particular ones that you've really latched onto?
At the moment, I'm a really, really big rat for David Cunningham. Like, I know he gets a bit of an unfair run, especially with injuries, but just the potential that he's got, he's just so clean with the ball. He knows where the goals are. I think if he can get his body right and just play consistent footy, I think he's going to be one of the best ones that we've got at the club at the moment, in terms of that young group that we've had since about 2015. So he's one that I really, I'm really excited for if he can get his body right. Tommy Williamson's another one. I know a lot of Carlton supporters love him. They're very excited for what he can produce. So again, it's his body that's letting him down. So those two are the big ones for me. I reckon if they can get their bodies right, just the pace and the skill that they bring off, halfback and the midfield is going to be vital, because I feel like we've got, you got your Cripps, you got your Walsh that are pretty much already there in the midfield that are leading the team. If those boys can chime in as well, it's going to give us that extra edge and that dynamic feel about it. So they're those two that I'm definitely excited for, and hoping that this year, well, once we do start playing footy, that they're going to be in the starting 22 and playing every week. So yeah,
it's so hard to put expectations on them when they come back. Like, I'm sort of already starting to picture, we're going to play whoever we play in that first game, maybe even the first 4 or 5 games, and there's going to be obviously performances. I can imagine a game where it's not clean, obviously, because the touch isn't there, and they've been completely stripped back of the training that they usually do. What are your expectations of when we come back? And for me, it's more just, and it always has been. I can handle a loss, but I think we had 23 tackles in round 1 or something like that. It fucks with me, it messes with my head. I need to see application, and I need to see intent and intensity. So what are some of the things that you really want to see when they come back?
I want to see the way we played in that second half against Richmond. I want to see that, like that, for like ferocity at the ball, the clean ball use, and just not mucking around with it as well. I feel like in that first half against Richmond, we were mucking around with it. We let Richmond dictate play, which Richmond do to a lot of teams, but I just felt like we just let them overpower us way too much in that first half, and we just calmed it down in the second half, and we actually scored quite quickly in that game too. Well, in the second half of it. So if we can bring that, and obviously getting a lot more than 23 tackles as well is going to be what I expect. And I'm just really looking forward to seeing who we do line up against in round 2. So hopefully it's an Essendon be good.
Oh mate, I was going to ask you. Yeah. I was literally going to ask you. I have to see us play Essendon.
Yeah, that'd be great.
We've got to beat them. We've got to beat them.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm like in 2018 when we had that horrible year, beating Essendon that year, was unbelievable. So
forget it. Samo in the rain with his long sleeves.
Oh, unbelievable. So I don't. There's nothing better than beating Essendon for me anyway. A lot of people say Collingwood, but Essendon for me is the team that I want to beat all the time. So
That's let's see. A sign of our. Yeah, sorry, go on.
No, I was saying hopefully we do play them in round 2, and we get majority of our players back for it too, so it'll be good.
Yeah, I think it's a sign of our different generation. Like obviously, previously it's Collingwood, and don't get me wrong, I completely respect the rivalry with Collingwood, and when we do play against them, it's on. It's absolutely on, and I hate them. But for whatever reason, it's Essendon, and my theory is this: Collingwood won the flag in 2010. We have to respect them. They made the granny in 2018, and that's my favourite game. That's my favourite non-Carlton game of all time, that 2018 granny. But there's just something about Essendon. I think it's because they haven't won anything. They haven't gained any league-wide respect by winning a final or winning a flag or whatever it is. Or obviously Richmond are another rival who we sort of respect now because they're just so good. But Essendon, they just get under my skin, man.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. And the supporters as well. Like I've got a lot of Essendon supporters, and geez, they're hard to deal with at the best of times. So I know, mate. It's exactly how I feel about them. It's just like we've sort of been at the same or similar levels since about 2002. So it's they haven't won flags like Collingwood or Richmond, where you have to sort of all right, they're a bloody good team. They're not. So it's like beating them is it's great. You get that bragging rights over them, and especially beating them when we were pretty rubbish in like 2017, 2018, and having Essendon as one of the teams that we did beat during that year makes it even sweeter. So
100%.
Yeah.
Let's. I'll ask you a few final questions before I let you go.
Yep.
I want you mentioned Dave Cunningham as your boy that you've really latched onto. Are there any other sleepers who haven't developed yet or are still coming through the ranks that probably maybe don't get as much attention as the Walshes and the Kernos and whatnot, or the Wiederings that you see coming through, that you see some serious potential in, that are going to be better than what we probably think?
Before round 1, I probably would have said Samo, but his round 1 performance was pretty good to suggest that, he's going to get to that next level. So I'd probably still say Samo anyway, just because I know he can get, he just needs to be more consistent with it. We saw that game against the Bulldogs last year where he absolutely tore it to shreds. If he can do that more consistently, I think he's going to be similar to Cunners and Willow, where he's just that player that teams aren't going to pay too much attention to, and he's going to be the one that's going to sort of just drive us forward as well. So, I'm going to stick with Samo on that one, I reckon.
Yeah, love it. I totally agree with you in his round 1. He didn't get 25-30, but just when he had the ball, he looks like he's filled out to where he's going to fill out in his peak. He's obviously got that spatial awareness. He's tough. You know, he can break. He can cop a tackle and break it. I agree, and obviously the way he uses it on either side of his body is great. For me, I mean, I know it's great for him to go on the half-back line, and we want to get him the ball and drive it forward. But for me, I think he's the midfielder that we sort of really, really need to step up. I think he's a midfielder. I think we drafted him as a midfielder, and I think that's where he's going to play his best footy for us. What about you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think midfield as well. But it is good to know that, you know, we can chuck him at a halfback if we need like a steady head or someone who's going to, you know, bring it out of our halfback line cleanly as well. So, but yeah, absolutely. I think he's a midfielder. And I think once, you know, we get, you know, maybe Willow playing there more consistently, that Samo will probably come into the midfield. But yeah, he's a midfielder for mine for sure.
Love it.
Yeah.
And then two more. When are we winning our flag? And I'll give you the first. I haven't asked anyone else this in these series, but when are we winning the flag? Give me a year and give me a Norm Smith medalist.
Geez. I'm going to say 2023.
Yep.
I think we'll be right in that window around then. And geez, you can't go past Cripps, can you? For Norm.
Yeah. He's born for a grand final.
Yeah, he's made for that. Like that. I feel sorry for him because, you know, I can imagine him watching all the finals lately and just being like, wow, like that's his stage. Like he's built for that sort of footy. So, yeah, you can't really choose anyone but Cripps at the moment. So I'd say that. And yeah, hopefully, mate, that's only 3 years away. So see how we go.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, mate, it's been a pleasure to have you on. Thank you so much for your time and best of luck with the journey. As I said before, guys, check out the links in the description below to the MJS Sport YouTube channel. You got Instagram. You got Facebook?
No Facebook, just Instagram at the moment.
Yep.
So,
yeah. So yeah, we'll plug you up for all those channels. And mate, welcome on the channel anytime you'd like to be.
I appreciate it, mate. Thank you very much for having me on. It was a really good chat.
Awesome, mate. Go Blues.
Go Blues.